So without any further ado, I'd like to invite Rigo up to get us started. Please, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Trust. The reason you're here is because you trust the conference organizers to be here. The reason I'm on stage is that the conference organizers trust me to be on stage, which I thought will be a good call, but okay, let's get it there. So trust is the currency of, or the real currency of commerce. At the end, trust makes that a consumer buys at your store. Yeah? And trust was always an easy thing. When you had a physical store, people knew how to find you. And if they were happy, they could say that to you. If they were unhappy, they could complain to you. Trust is also, they could feel the goods, see the goods, touch the goods, and in that way, they trust the fact that what we were selling was a good thing that you were selling. So at the end, trust in a physical store was an easy thing. But then we moved into the area where we say, let's keep this face-to-face interaction, which was easy and convenient because people don't want to come even more to my shop and want to sell more, buy more and more online. And the problem is, if you're an online merchant, there is no location where they can find you and beat you up if you deliver bad service. They have to do it with like pictures and see, oh, the quality of that thing looks good on a picture. No, and no, you know what Photoshop can do, so anyway, there is, the value of a picture is not that much. There is no real interaction. They're shopping whatever hour of the day, whatever moment of the day, and you're not there when they shop. And then there are these failed payments. Sorry for that. So payments fail, and people want to buy and have click, 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 and then they want to buy and it doesn't work, or they don't know how to do it. And then complaints, you can write an email, and then hope, pray for response. So that's the challenge when you move from the physical or physical brick and mortar stores into the e-commerce stores. You all know that. So the problem is, with this change, the trust has been diminished, that is demolished even. And in that way, that demolishing of trust makes that a conversion of an interested party to buy something, an interested consumer to buy something with you, and at the end, the successful getting the money in your pockets is a journey of losing people on the road, and that is losing business on the road. So then you as smart merchants, you kind of did the right thing. So you said, let's solve these problems. If they can't see where my location is, I build a concept store. Or I build a brand they can trust by having a lot of reviews on my site. I have an extensive return policy. I ship everything for free, and you ship everything back for free if you don't want it. Or you create this call center and chat box and all the things where you can interact with us. Or you give certain guarantees, say money back all the time. Yeah? One of the domains where we still have a journey to go is in the domain of payments. Payments used to be so that losing during the moment that a consumer was shopping on a website, clicks to pay, and then that there is a lot of things lost. And so when we looked at that in a very big detail, as Mastercard, we concluded that sales, with the moment of the willingness to buy and the moment that you pay, when you get into what we call a challenge flow, when you are getting next to a frictionless flow, which is I click and it's bought, I click and I get a pop-up screen which asks me something, 1/4 of all transactions get lost. That's huge. 25%, I had 24 on my slide, 25% get lost. Whenever there is a challenge flow. And today, 20% of the traffic get challenged. So that's 5% business lost. Now, the people will try other things. They might find a way to circumvent, but the risk is that they never come back. The second thing is that we see is that the second interruption in the payment flow is that banks, issuers, decline much more transactions. They have 10% more declines because they don't trust the information they get. And they say, wait, in a physical store with dipping a card or contactless payment and a PIN code, I can trust that, and there's no reason for me as an issuer to say, it happens over there. But based on that, I can trust it because I know there is no fraud, yeah? or very limited fraud. On the other side, if it's on the internet, it can be hackers. It can be dangerous people that buy something. And so they put risk parameters in their systems, and it declines 10% more. And the last but not least thing is, internet has 10 times more fraud than physical. Where the fraud rates in Europe on physical are around 2 basis points, on internet payments, they're around 20 basis points. So that is a disaster. This is killing business. This is killing the trust. Because if people try it once and it doesn't work, might try it a second time, perhaps even a third time, but some of them will never come back and say, I don't get how to buy on internet. So then you're changing of the model from brick and mortar to digital, makes you lose a lot of business. And that is not the purpose of moving from one to the other, because the reason why most of the merchants went to digital is because they want to widen the sales approach. They want to widen the customer reach. And that's the reason why you was there. So in order that, and also, of course, in line with what the regulator wants in PSD2, Mastercard has developed a program where we say, let's focus on a few things. Let's focus, how can we help you to reduce friction during payments? Yeah? How can we help you to reduce the loss of transactions? How can we help you to reduce fraud? And at the end, what we've decided is to first of all go to a new standard. The standard of securing payments on the internet will be changing. It will move from what is called secure code into EMV 3DS. Now, EMV 3DS is foundationally different than secure code. EMV 3DS, which is the new EMV standard, first of all, is a global standard for every single payment scheme. Yeah? There is no exception. Secondly, it helps to overcome the trust issue by providing more information to the issuer so that they can take better decisions and can trust the information as much as they can trust it in the physical space. Yeah? And because they know this information, they will not challenge you. They will say, okay, I know all the information. Why do I need to ask an extra question to my consumer and have the potential to lose him in the transaction? So what is then, which is then what we call risk-based analysis. You do a risk-based analysis, and based on that you decide not to challenge. We hope that issuers, and we're working with the issuers to maximize the non-challenge flow, or to minimize the challenge flow, or to maximize the RBA flows. We need to get there, because the more we avoid challenges, the more we allow click payments, the more an interest to buy something gets into a purchase and money in the pocket. Yeah. And the second thing we did was saying the methodologies today, if you're challenged, are way too complex. Things like I buy something on the internet, and then I have on my mobile phone a message that I have to type into a screen, and then if the bank is really precise, they want also a password on that, and all these things that don't work. Passwords don't work at the end. So when we looked at what is the most friendly way of paying at the end, and if you're challenged, in the rare occasion you will challenge, and I hope I will get to a rare occasion, and that's what we're aiming for. In that rare occasion that you're challenged, the idea is that you do it via biometrics, because that is user-friendly. You cannot forget your fingerprint. There are some people that might lose a thumb, but at the end you can't forget your fingerprint. You don't have to remember something, you have it with you. Now, then you have to have a device that works with a fingerprint and so on. So there will be a road to it. But at the end, the end goal is biometrics. And probably not even physical biometrics. At the end, if we are at this stage that when you surf on a website, on your merchant website, if someone turns around and surfs on your website, the way he does it or the way you hold your phone is so unique that we can identify yourself, then we're in the area of what we call behavioral biometrics. And then we don't even have to wait for you to pay before we know it's you, but because your behavior, we can validate it's you, and in that way, a challenge is not needed anymore. It's challenged, but it's like invisible challenge. And that is the end goal where we are. And then whether or not the flow is challenged or unchallenged, it doesn't even matter anymore, because the experience for a consumer is the same. I say, click to pay, and it's paid. As simple as that. If you're interested in that specific thing, Mastercard has a booth where we demonstrate the new data capabilities on this specific aspect. So if you want to see what we can do on behavioral biometrics, take a look at this, and this is kind of where we are aiming for, like in the future. No reason you can do a challenge flow, even in a one-click experience. Yeah? So the other thing, what is crucial on the internet, and in internet payments, is that cards get replaced. Cards are not there for eternity. They have an expiry date. Now, also there, please, what we advise and what we see is uplift of 5% in approval rates when people are registering cards in tools that take care that if a card is replaced, the credentials are replaced automatically with all the merchants, and in that way, the transactions go smooth. Another aspect which is crucial for this experience of reducing the lost transactions is the fact that consumers do want to have control. Consumers do want to know where are their credentials stored. That is even an increasing threat on the internet. All the cyber attacks, cyber security is crucial in the way that, and if you want to make cyber security crucial, you kind of say, I need to make sure that my card number that can be used anywhere is not stored anymore at every location or multiple locations where I have no clue where they are. You tokenize them, and then at least you can, if you lose them only for one site or for one merchant. And the other thing is, you have to give the consumer a screen where he can say, okay, I want my credentials to be deleted there and there and there, which is also an important factor of having the consumer's trust that he can control it. It doesn't mean he will delete them. It just means that he knows his peace of mind that he can delete them if he wants to. And that's an important factor of trust of the consumer to say, okay, at least I know I'm on the internet, it's an unsafe environment, it might be considered as an unsafe environment, but my payment credentials are at least stored in a secure way because no one has the real payment credentials anymore, except my bank. And I can check, control, change them, delete them whenever I want. Yeah? The last aspect is the reduction of fraud. Now, if you go to EMV3DS, the prediction is that fraud will dramatically drop. At least we'll assume that it's going to be half of the fraud that you have today. That will be also helped with the investments companies are doing in artificial intelligence. Because in artificial intelligence, what you try to do is ascend the same experience. You try the same experience where you want to kind of say, I have a lot of data, and in this lot of data, I look for trends, correlations between data points, and these data points, with my machine learning, I will figure out prediction models that say, okay, this is a genuine transaction, this is a fraudulent transaction. And that helps you to better, again, manage your risk and do better risk-based authentication, or rather better know when to challenge and when not to challenge. These changes will happen this year. So you see on top of my slide 2019. 14th of September 2019, I tend to say it's a day where you wake up and the world will be different. Okay, I think it's an exaggeration. I don't think it's true, because people will anticipate that this change will be coming. But the change will be coming. And if you're not prepared for that change, your conversion from an interested consumer into a successful money in the pocket business done will dramatically drop, because the regulator also has asked to be ready with that higher security e-commerce domain by that time. If you've not yet discussed with anyone what to do to get compliant, if you've not discussed anything with anyone, how do I get there? It's time to act now. You have only 7 months left. Yeah? It's now. So, but this is not the end of the journey. This journey is an ongoing journey. This journey will never stop. Innovation in this area will never stop. So, for us as Mastercard, this payment experience is the core of our business. Improving this is what we need to drive. We need to drive, and we have to make it easy for you. We have to drive it, and we have to make it easy. And at the end, it's not a competitive field against the other payment schemes. It is not. It should be based on standards. So the standards that we have agreed on the payment ecosystem is tokenization is a standard. The biometrics is standardizing, still not there, but will be standardized as well. So we are not asking for big differentiators in payment. At the end, the consumer gets confused by if there are different methodologies for everyone. Yeah? So in that way, we are heavily investing in a standardized world where payment is a similar experience no matter what payment brand you're doing from a consumer point of view. Now, Mastercard is still the best, so don't forget that. So we will go the next level in a sense that we will invest extremely a lot in these behavioral biometrics because we think that is the future. Physical biometrics is an intermediate for the future of behavioral biometrics. The models have to still improve a bit. The experience has to improve on this, but there is the future roadmap is help the consumer that when he shops, he just gets in a one-click payment, but it's as secure as if he would have put his fingerprint or if he has to have his PIN on the physical POS. It's as secure, but he doesn't have to do anything special for it anymore. Yeah? Yeah? Because making the user experience optimal or optimizing the user experience with no fraud, no friction, and no declines for no reason is what we need to build the future of digital payments, build the future of digital commerce. If you don't solve that, you will go and say, we'll look for an alternative. And we know that. So if we don't solve it for card payments, you will look for alternatives to replace these card payments. So it's our credo to say, we'll want to solve this, so trust me, we'll solve it. Thank you.